I want to give you a different lens for evaluating the news, for reading policy announcements, for thinking about who is speaking to you and why. It is not a partisan lens. It is not left and right. It is simpler and more useful than either. When policy is proposed, a tax change, a housing regulation, a financial rule, a healthcare decision, instead of asking, is this a conservative or liberal idea? Ask two questions. Question one, who benefits if this passes? Question two, who pays for it directly or indirectly? Those two questions applied consistently will tell you more about what is actually happening than any partisan framing ever will. Let me give you some examples. In 2017, the United States passed a major tax reform act that reduced the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. Who benefits? Corporations and their shareholders, who saw profits and stock prices rise significantly. Who pays? The difference in tax revenue has to come from somewhere. It either increases the deficit, which is debt passed to future generations, or it is offset by reductions in other spending. Applied consistently, the benefit went primarily to people who already own significant assets. The cost was distributed more broadly, including to people who own no assets at all. I'm not saying that the tax policy is simple or there is no legitimate arguments for lower corporate tax. There are. Economic arguments about investment and job creations are real. I'm saying that when you apply the who benefits, who pays lens, the picture becomes clearer than the partisan framing allows. Now apply the same lens to housing zoning policy. When a city council blocks high density housing development in an established neighborhood, who benefits? Existing homeowners whose property values are protected from the downward pressure that additional supply would create. Who pays? Renters and the first-time buyers who cannot access affordable housing in that neighborhood. And who is typically more represented at a city council meetings? Established homeowners. Who is typically less represented? The people who do not yet live there because they cannot afford to. Apply to pharmaceutical pricing in the United States. Who benefits from a system where the drug companies can charge what the market will bear? Pharmaceutical companies and their shareholders. Who pays? Every American who needs medication and every insurance system that covers them. The United States pays on average 2 to 3 times what Canada and European countries pay for identical drugs, according to RAND Corporation analysis. Same molecules, same efficacy, different rule about who gets to set the price. These are not trick questions with the obvious answers. They're honest questions that require honest answers. And I think the habit of asking them consistently, regardless of which side is proposing the policy, is one of the most genuinely useful things any person can bring to their engagement with public life. My father never had a university education. He did not read economic policy papers, but he had version of this question that he applied instinctively. He used to say, in his broken English that got better every year, he used to say, always ask talking and what they want from you. That is the immigrant's instinct. And when you arrive somewhere with nothing, you develop a sharp sense for the difference between people who are generally trying to help you and people who are managing you in ways that serve their interests. He applied that instinct to politics the same way he applied it to business negotiations. I have tried to inherit that instinct. I think it is one of the most genuinely radical things you can do in the current media environment, which is designed to generate heat rather than light, to divide rather than clarify, to keep you engaged and agitated rather than informed and effective. Ask who benefits. Ask who pays. Follow the thread wherever it leads.